We're gonna do this like Lil Wayne. Oh yeah.
And of course, man, welcome to Hoops and Hash. It is your boy Squid, and this is season 2, technically episode 2 of Hoops and Hash. And of course, we were talking about the Phoenix Suns having a little bit of an up and down season, at least an up and down start to the season. But at 3 wins and 4 losses, they are certainly showing a lot more than what was expected, at least by NBA media. Showing a lot of grit, showing a lot of fight and discipline, showing a ton of heart and, they're just playing like they give a damn. And that in itself is much more than what we could have said about the Suns in the last 2 years. But we got a lot to talk about, the Suns being 3 and 4. We're going to talk about the reasons behind that. And then, of course, some things we can look forward to as we see Golden State tonight. This episode should be released before that game starts, but this is certainly recorded before that game starts. So make sure you grab something to smoke on if you are at work, if you are at the crib. There's only going to be 15, 20 minutes, enough to, kick your feet up, take a moment. We're going to talk about the Suns, and we're going to be right back. You learn.
All right, man. So with the Phoenix Suns being 3 and 4 right now on a 2-game winning streak, both of those wins just came in absolutely dominating fashion. It was just dominant, damn near wire to wire. I can't say wire to wire because I think at some point technically we were losing in both of those games, but really, really sharp and focused that win against Utah, especially after it was just an embarrassing. And I say embarrassing because just giving up so many offensive rebounds. I think I'm one of the few people that think that, yeah, you can teach people to rebound. Like you can teach them like the basics and the fundamentals of, boxing out and getting a rebound. But a lot of it is effort. It really is just, taking that extra bit of energy that you're trying to reserve for the third or the fourth quarter to find a fucking body and box somebody out and then go up for that rebound, right? So it's like losing that first time against Utah, I think it was the 27th, so it was 4 nights before we blew them out. But losing that first game against the Jazz, really frustrating, just because it was an absolutely winnable game. And it just came down to losing the battle in terms of loose balls. So blowing them out, that was really, really satisfying. And then anytime that we can smack the fuck out the San Antonio Spurs, I am for it. I almost threw something on the grill the other night. We had the Spurs and Wemby in hell. I think that was arguably the best defensive game that has been played against Wemby in his NBA career up to this point. That is coming from somebody who doesn't watch him on a nightly basis, but taking into consideration the context of who he is and who he's becoming and just how dominant he has shown he can be, that defensive outing that the Suns had against Wemby was just simply incredible, right? And the reason I say that is if you watch the tape, I'm sure they were running the tape and showing the replays. And what's unfortunate is that they're probably going to chalk it up to him having a bad night. And it's like, I think y'all chalking it up to not giving the Phoenix Suns credit for the way that they defended him. But he is 8'3", right? And yet we had guards that were the initial line of defense with him, right? Not because they can match him in height, but because when you are that low man wins in terms of trying to get leverage, in terms of trying to get position, sending our guards and our wings to get him off the block, being physical, he doesn't want that. I mean, a lot of people don't want the physicality of the game, right? But someone as, I hate to say frail, because that nigga is strong as hell, but like as skinny as he is, like he doesn't want to have to deal with that. Being 7'4", 7'5", whatever how tall he is, you don't want to deal with that. It's just extra energy that you're exerting on your extra long limbs. No one wants that. So the physicality from the jump, getting him off the block, making sure that he does not have any kind of comfort zone near the rim. I mean, if he gets within 5 feet of the rim, given the fact that he's as tall as he is, that's a bucket. If he gets the ball 5 feet from the rim, just take it out the net. So getting our guards on our wings to get him off the block, that was incredible. Playing with that physicality was beautiful. So you're forcing him to play out of his comfort zone right off the bat. So now he's doing a post up from damn near the 3-point line. He's posting somebody up from the free throw line extended. No one wants to start off a post possession from there unless it's a high post play. And that's not what he's going for. That and the fact that we fronting and denying him the ball where we could, I feel like we were really opportunistic with the way that we did that. So it's like trying to face guard someone who's as tall as he is, it's not always going to work. But if you can get him off the block and have somebody readily available to help, which is what happened, our rotations were impeccable, man. I cannot stress that enough. The defensive rotations were absolutely stunning. I mean, that was a beautiful thing to watch. Beating the Spurs is beautiful, but playing that kind of connected team defense, that's beautiful. That wins you games in dominant fashion. If you can do what you need to do defensively and you can trust your teammate to be right behind you to cover you, you can have trust in your teammates to make those rotations and make the right play. When you can do that and have that freedom to play and knowing that your guy behind you is going to take care of business, pause. It's a beautiful thing. And the way that the Suns played defense against Wemby and the way that the Suns played team defense against the Spurs the other night was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm used to the Suns being on the other end of beatdowns like that from the goddamn Spurs. So anytime we can put their face in the pillow, I am happy about it. But moving on from the team performance against the Jazz and the San Antonio Spurs, let's talk about Devin Booker, man. It's crazy. Through 7 games, again, I really want to stress, yes, it's a small sample size. It's a small sample size. It is a small sample size. So through 7 games, Book is averaging career highs in points per game, assists per game, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. And the thing is, you can tell he looks crisp. Like, aside from the stats, right? Aside from the numbers, one thing that was just making me have faith again, at least in terms of who he is as a player and who he can be as a leader. He's seeing these doubles, but he was approaching the double teams much faster. It's one thing to be decisive. It's one thing to be, quick in making a good read, but something that would absolutely fry me is when he would see the double, right? He sees the double coming, and it was like it would just be an extra second that he holds the ball before he makes that pass. And it's the right read. It's just simply holding onto the ball just an extra millisecond too long. When you let the double team settle in, the Zebras are going to let a lot more go when they start to be physical with you, when they're trying to strip you, when they're trying to take the ball from you. So it's like as soon as you get a double, you allowing the double, like just accepting it and then, operating from there, that it just gets you in really shitty positions. It gets you in really shitty situations. And in this case, at least so far through the season, Book has seen the doubles and he's making, an immediate decision. It's almost before, like, obviously sometimes you have to wait for the double to come so then you can, read that and see how the defense is going to rotate, do what they need to do. But in this case, he's taking the reads and he's being mindful about getting into the actions quickly. And so that's huge. More than anything, that's huge. But just he's shooting the fuck out the ball. Something else that I noticed, and I can't prove it. I wish Suns media would ask the question. I think Devin Booker has not changed, but just ever so subtly, just slightly changed his jumper. I was saying it in the group chat, and I think I tweeted about it too. It looks like his load up and release, it looks like everything is tighter. The comparison that I made, it was as if he had to go to London, he had to go to the UK, and somebody put him in a telephone booth and they said, all right, you can only catch your jumper and load up and shoot in this phone booth. If you touch the windows, if you touch the door at all, you fail the mission, right? That's 5 push-ups, 10 push-ups, whatever. Everything he's doing, it looks like it's almost like he's taking up less space. One of the homies said that he's getting his elbow under the ball more. And I can see that. It's just, man, it looks everything. The shots he's been taking thus far, he looks more sure of it. And he had a very pretty jumper beforehand, but now it looks good, man. It looks even better than it did before. Like I said, he just seems a little bit more confident in that shot, and maybe it's the fact that he's allowed to be himself. He's not having to overthink his decisions. He can just be Book and then make the right reads from there. I think that helps a ton. One last thing, man. Actually, going back to Book, just a couple of things. He is currently second in the league in pull-up efficiency, and he's also second in the league in pull-up attempts. So he's taking them and making them, and that's something that I feel like we've been begging Devin Booker to do just because it adds another element to the offense. And so far, so good, even though the Suns are 3-4. Those pull-up jumpers, man, it's forcing the defense to have to look at you a different way. If you can't pull up off a screen, you can't pull up in half-court transition, yeah, you have a ton of gravity, but just having a pull-up jumper in your back pocket, that's just adding to that gravity. And with Book making all the right reads, man, he should be averaging 10 assists, 11 assists a game right now. But, even though we've been making open shots, many more open shots than we did last season, it's just some of these open ones just won't fall, man. He should be averaging 10 assists a game, but that's just how the game goes sometimes. Shout out Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen for their 3-point shooting to start the season. Royce O'Neal right now is 4th in the league in 3-pointers made, and Grayson Allen is 7th in the league in 3-pointers made. Both just shooting the leather off that goddamn ball. They are shooting the ball well. They're making the open shots. They're making the shots where there's a hard closeout on the way. They're making these open shots, and Book is creating them with his gravity and with the way that he's dissecting these defenses. So shout out Royce. Shout out Grayson. They have been shooting the ball, and obviously there's always a regression to the mean, but shit, maybe this is the mean. So hoping that shooting continues. It's gonna be huge as we continue the season. We're just hoping to see Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks back. I'm excited to see what the Suns team looks like when they are completely and fully healthy. So they've had some rough moments, but for the most part, they've looked good the last 3 or 4 games, and I'm excited to see what they look like tonight against the Warriors. All right. Other than Book being Book and having his career highs, other than the Phoenix Suns making the shots that they need to make, they're making open shots. But Suns are playing defense. And the numbers are not supporting that. I think it's the Suns right now, their defensive efficiency or their defensive rating right now, it shows that they're number 22 in the league. But I think that's, we're accounting for games 2, 3, and 4. We played like dog shit. So the last 2 games, they have really, really gotten some shit together. Mark Williams, God willing, he stays healthy, man. He has been an incredible presence both offensively, but especially defensively. Altering shots, actually getting blocks, just being a big, strong, athletic rebounder. That's something that we've badly needed, right? He plays with force, and that's something that we need. He plays with force offensively and defensively. And I think that he and Nick Richards are a good 1-2 punch. Obviously, these aren't the 2 best centers in the league or even top 10, either of them. But it's one of those things where you can trust that they're gonna get it done in those minutes. And Mark Williams, man, I just need him to stay healthy. We're just begging and praying that the man stays healthy. But shout out Jordan Ott too, man. I think he's brought an identity to this Phoenix Suns team that we've badly been missing. Obviously the game is about getting a bucket, it's about scoring and all that, but like this team it's showing pride. It's showing pride and playing defense unlike I've seen this Phoenix Suns organization play in years. Even when we went to the finals in 2021, I feel like we were middle of the pack defensively. We're no top 5, and I hope I'm not, misremembering, but even at that point, we had a really good offense and a decent defense. The team just had really good camaraderie and all that. But this team, it seems like they are connected and on a string, and that's that. I mean, the more reps they get, the more games they play together, I think is going to get tighter. I'm just excited. Again, I can't wait to see what this team looks like when they're fully healthy. And I know during the NBA season, it's a long season, so no one's ever really fully healthy throughout the season. But man, I'd like to see how close we can get to that. You know what I mean? But aside from Jordan making bringing that identity, perhaps Dylan Brooks is a culture setter. Maybe he's not getting the credit he deserves. I think, if I'm not mistaken, since he left the Rockets and the Grizzlies, their defense has gotten worse, right? At the very least, since the Rockets. So it's like while he brings a lot of the antics, he's absolutely a tough guy mentality. He's our new age, this new era PJ Tucker. Obviously, just better on offense, but it's something about him that it's almost like even though he's not playing in these games, he's still in the locker room and he's still at these practices. And so maybe while sometimes he could piss a lot of people off, maybe he's a culture setter, man. And if that's the case, I mean, I support it. I said it before the season even started. If as long as everybody continues to color within the lines, I will not be mad at anybody. It's when we go off the rails and do the dumb shit that cost points or cost games that it's like, man, come on now. But no, Suns starting to create somewhat of a defensive identity. I think as more of these games go by, they're going to get higher in that defensive ranking. I predicted they'd be top 10 to 12, top 10, top 12. I think health permitting, we're going to get there. But of course, one last thing, man, I'm trying to trust the process, especially because Jordan Ott has shown us a lot. He's showing us a lot of poise, and he's showing us a lot of strat, man. It seems like the Suns are having a system, like a legit system, offensively and defensively. We're not running ISOs every goddamn play, and then defensively, we're not getting beat backdoor every other play. Defensively, we're not getting, smoked on missed assignments or miscommunications. Like this team on offense and defense, they're communicating and working together, and that's why I keep talking about they're on a string. And so that's why, I don't want to pose this as me questioning coach, but I just gotta wonder why we're not getting a ton of Malawach minutes. And mind you, he's a really raw, young center, and he's got a ton to learn. There's no reason to really rush in that regard. But the context is that he went top 10, right? I think if the Suns organization wants to be honest with itself, I mean, the way that we're currently playing the rotations, we're playing as if we're expecting to contend, we're expecting to be in the playoffs. And that's not a problem to have high expectations. It's not a problem to have high expectations and to expect that you should be making the playoffs. But at the same time, if we're not contending, I think that we are doing Malawash a great disservice by not allowing him to play at NBA speed sooner than later. Right. I think before the season, there was a lot of conversation, or at least a lot of implication that with the draft picks we use, they would be, not even heavily utilized in the Suns' night to night operations. But there was at least the implication that, yeah, we really value these picks. We really spent our time and focused and researched and channeled all of our energy into these picks. And so, maybe we misread it, maybe we misunderstood it, but, it just seemed like the plan was to get these guys. You really wanted these guys, but not really playing these guys. I would love to see more Malawash minutes. I don't think it has to be, 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes. I don't think he needs to play more than 15 to 18 minutes a game. But just getting him these reps, these early season reps. I think he played in the second game of the season. He got some early minutes. It was like, fire. All right. I think it was garbage time minutes, but it's like, all right, cool. You get in the game, the second game of the season. And then the nigga got banished to the bench since then. He played in the game against the San Antonio Spurs, but what was it, the Spurs? It was either the Spurs or the Jazz, but that's because both games were blowouts. So it's like garbage minutes don't count. Garbage minutes don't count. I would like to see him get some minutes during the game when it matters, and just allow him to learn with this pace and learn with this speed and a lot of these teams, they develop their rookies by throwing these niggas right into the fire. And it's like, while I don't think we should throw him into the fire, he's still, again, just really young and really raw. But I don't know. I just want to see more from him. I think it was the excitement around him. I think we're all just, really anxious and excited to see this team at full speed, at full go. But at the same time, I almost said it's October. This is November. This is the time when you can experiment a little bit. Like, this is the time when you can play the Malawash minutes, because if he's not playing well or he's seemingly not getting up to speed, it's like, okay, so then we know that when January, February, March comes around, assuming we're still in the hunt, assuming we're still, potentially playoff bound, okay, so we know that we can't play you during this time. You still need that time to develop. How are we going to know that he needs the time to develop if he's not even in the minutes? But I trust Ott, man. He's proved me wrong so far. I think that 7 games into the season, it's really, really, really early. There's still a lot of season left, but more so just venting. I'd love to see more Maluraj. I think he's shown some moments that suggest that maybe he's ready to get 10 to 12 minutes a game, right? 12 to 15 minutes a game, and seeing where we can progress from there. But man, the Suns look good. I'm really excited. I feel like the Suns, historically speaking, don't have great games against the Warriors, but I'm hoping that tonight that's a little bit different. I'm excited to see how they go. Draymond, but it'd be a nice night for him to get ejected, but that might mean that Curry goes for 60. We love to let Curry go crazy. So I hope that this is not one of those nights. I'm gonna need Ryan Dunn to clamp my boy. I need y'all to let him know the future is now, old man. I need y'all to let him know. But now, really excited for the Suns and Warriors game tonight. We'll definitely be doing this again very soon. I think it's a matter of, just on a week-to-week basis, the time that I may or may not have. Going to do episode 3 very soon. Going to see how this Warriors game goes. With this tonight being game number 8, maybe we'll be back after game number 10 or 11 and just talking about what we've seen through those games. But this is the end of Hoops and Hash Season 2, Episode 2, talking about the Phoenix Suns. We got a lot to look forward to, health permitting, and I can't wait to talk about it again in a few days here. But I appreciate you listening. I hope you are well. With the world going to shit around us, please don't forget to be a kind, empathetic, mindful, and aware human being. It costs absolutely $0 to be a good human, and you absolutely should not expect the world in return for simply being a good human. So Be well, be kind, be mindful, be patient, and empathetic. And here's to episode 2. I'll see you at episode 3.